Could your morning routine be silently setting you up for a stroke after 60? This chilling question comes from Dr. Haino Hara, Japan's oldest doctor, who, at over 100, still saves lives with wisdom blending Eastern tradition and Western science. I'm John, your host at Elders Wisdom, dedicated to helping seniors thrive, and today's message could be a lifesaver. Strokes strike hundreds of thousands yearly, often without warning, but subtle signs and risky habits hide in plain sight. Dr. Haino Hara reveals 5 morning habits that triple your stroke risk, backed by Harvard and Lancet neurology research, and the first signs most miss. From a 30-second fix to a final habit, so overlooked it shocks even doctors. You'll want to stay until the end. These simple changes could mean the difference between a vibrant 90s and a life-altering event. Subscribe to Elders Wisdom, hit the like button, and comment, "I'm stroke-proof at 60." to join our community. Let's dive in. The last habit might save your life. Strokes are often imagined as dramatic events, a sudden collapse, slurred speech, or a frozen face. But for many seniors, the first signs are far quieter, hiding in everyday moments like brushing teeth or sipping coffee. Dr. Haino Hara, with over 7 decades of medical practice, emphasizes that the earliest clue is a sudden shift in coordination. You reach for your toothbrush, but your hand misses slightly. You sip tea, and it dribbles. You try buttoning a shirt, and your fingers feel clumsy, not numb or paralyzed, just off. These aren't aging quirks. They're neurological red flags, signaling a potential interruption in brain blood flow, often a transient ischemic attack, TIA, or mini-stroke. A 74-year-old retired accountant, David, experienced this firsthand. He visited Dr. Haino Hara not for illness, but because he kept dropping his keys and fumbling shirt buttons. His wife noticed he once forgot how to spell milk while writing a grocery list, a brief blank, no headache or slurring. Suspecting trouble, Dr. Haino Hara ordered a brain scan, revealing a recent TIA. David was lucky. Within 48 hours, adjusted medications, a cleaner diet, and hydration monitoring prevented a full stroke. His story underscores a critical truth. Catching these signs early can save your brain. Research in Lancet Neurology supports this urgency. A study tracking TIA patients found the first 48 hours are the highest risk window for a major stroke, but timely treatment, medication, lifestyle tweaks cuts risk by over 80%. These subtle coordination lapses, like struggling to tie shoes or spilling coffee, aren't dramatic, making them easy to dismiss as fatigue or arthritis. Yet, they reflect temporary blood flow disruptions to the brain, which controls every precise movement. Ignoring them is like ignoring a flickering light before a power outage. Seniors often downplay these moments, fearing overreaction, but Dr. Haino Hara insists, act fast. If you notice clumsiness repeating, say twice in a week, call your doctor. Note the time, duration, and what you were doing. For example, a 68-year-old patient, Susan, ignored her shaky handwriting, attributing it to age, until a second episode prompted a checkup, revealing high blood pressure and TIA risk. Quick intervention saved her from worse. Awareness is your shield. Test yourself. Can you touch your nose with eyes closed? If your hand wavers, it's a clue. Watch for asymmetry. Does one hand lag? These signs don't scream emergency, but whisper pay attention. Dr. Haino Hara's advice, don't wait for a collapse. Monitor daily tasks, writing, eating, dressing, for sudden changes. If they occur, don't hesitate to seek care. This knowledge empowers you to protect your brain before a stroke steals your independence, setting the stage for avoiding habits that fuel the risk. Habit 1. Rushing into stress. Mornings set the tone for your day. But for many seniors, they're a battleground of stress that triples stroke risk after 60. Checking news alerts before getting out of bed, reading urgent emails at breakfast, or arguing with a spouse about the day's schedule. These common habits spike cortisol and blood pressure, creating a dangerous strain on aging arteries. Dr. Haino Hara warns that this rush into mental strain, especially in the first 3 hours after waking, is a silent stroke trigger, often overlooked because it feels normal in our fast-paced world. A 2015 study in the journal Stroke tracked over 93,000 people for a decade, finding that high psychological stress early in the day significantly raises stroke risk, particularly in those over 60. The reason lies in physiology. Upon waking, your cortisol, the stress hormone, naturally peaks and blood pressure rises to prepare you for the day. Adding mental stress, like a heated discussion or a flood of notifications, amplifies this surge, tightening blood vessels and stressing the heart. For seniors with less elastic arteries, this can disrupt blood flow to the brain, triggering a TIA or worse. Take Michael, a 65-year-old retiree who started mornings arguing with his wife over chores. One day, after a tense exchange, he felt dizzy and dropped his coffee cup, a TIA, his doctor later confirmed. Reducing morning stress through quiet time and open communication stabilized his blood pressure, averting further episodes. Michael's case isn't rare. Stress is a universal trigger, but its timing matters most in the vulnerable morning window. Dr. Hinohara's solution is simple. Create a 10-minute buffer of calm. After waking, avoid phones, news, or conflicts. Instead, stretch gently, sip water, or sit with a cup of tea, focusing on your breath. A 2020 American Journal of Cardiology study found that brief morning relaxation lowers blood pressure by 10 points, easing vascular strain. If you live with others, set boundaries. Agree to discuss plans after breakfast. If alone, resist the urge to dive into tasks. Let your brain stabilize first. This habit isn't about avoiding life's demands, but timing them wisely. Your brain, fresh from sleep, is fragile, like a car engine warming up. Overloading it risks damage. Try a morning ritual. Open a window, listen to birds, or read a light poem. For example, a 70-year-old patient, Ellen, swapped news for classical music, noticing calmer days and steadier energy. These small shifts create neurological hygiene, protecting your brain from stress's silent toll. Start tomorrow. Delay stress for 30 minutes. Set your phone to do not disturb until after your buffer. If stress creeps in, pause and breathe deeply for 60 seconds. Picture yourself at 90, starting each day with peace, not pressure. This habit reduces stroke risk by giving your body a chance to thrive, paving the way for the next risky behavior to avoid. Habit 2. Skipping breakfast. Breakfast is often touted as the day's most critical meal, but for seniors over 60, skipping it can silently triple the risk of a stroke by starving the brain of its essential fuel, glucose. Many seniors wake, sip coffee, pop their morning medications, and delay eating for hours, viewing this as disciplined or inconsequential. Dr. Hinohara, Japan's centenarian physician, warns that this habit is far from benign. It destabilizes blood sugar, triggering a cascade of effects that can lead to dizziness, mental fog, or even a transient ischemic attack, TIA, a stroke precursor. For those on blood pressure or diabetes medications, the danger is especially acute as low blood sugar, hypoglycemia, amplifies stroke risk in the morning's vulnerable window. The brain depends on a steady glucose supply to function, yet it stores minimal reserves, making morning nutrition non-negotiable. A 2018 study from the Longevity Nutrition Institute revealed that seniors who skip breakfast face a 30% higher risk of blood sugar instability, particularly when combined with medications like metformin or beta blockers. This instability stresses neural pathways, increasing the likelihood of a TIA, where blood flow to the brain is briefly disrupted. Clara, a 67-year-old retiree, learned this the hard way. She took her blood pressure pills with coffee, skipping food until lunch. One morning, a dizzy spell left her clutching a table, a TA, her doctor confirmed. Adding a small breakfast of Greek yogurt and berries stabilized her glucose, preventing a full stroke. Dr. Hinohara's recommendation is practical. Within an hour of waking, eat a modest, protein-rich meal. It needn't be lavish. Half a boiled egg, a spoonful of yogurt, or a few soaked walnuts provides enough glucose to support brain function. A 2021 Diabetes Care study found that protein-rich breakfasts reduce hypoglycemia risk by 25% in seniors, maintaining stable blood sugar for hours. This isn't about satisfying hunger, which many seniors lack in the morning, but about safeguarding circulation and brain health, especially for those on medications that alter heart or sugar dynamics. Robert, a 72-year-old former teacher, prided himself on fasting until noon, believing it mimicked youthful vitality. After fainting during a morning walk, tests showed dangerously low glucose, elevating his stroke risk. Switching to a small bowl of oatmeal with chia seeds and berries transformed his energy and blood markers within weeks. His experience debunked the myth that fasting universally benefits. For seniors, fragile metabolic rhythms make skipping breakfast risky. Another case, Helen, a 69-year-old, felt mid-morning fatigue, blaming age. A small breakfast of scrambled eggs with spinach, recommended by her doctor, restored her stamina, proving food's role in brain resilience. Adopting this habit is effortless. Stock your kitchen with quick options: eggs, plain yogurt, or unsalted nuts. If time's short, prep overnight oats with almond milk or blend a smoothie with spinach, protein powder, and a banana. Avoid sugary cereals, pastries, or juice, which spike glucose only to crash it, exacerbating stroke risk. A 2022 Journal of Nutrition study confirmed that balanced breakfasts, rich in protein and fiber, cut vascular event risks by 20%, underscoring their protective power. Start tomorrow. Eat something small before 10 a.m., even a handful of almonds. Pair it with water to amplify benefits. If appetite's absent, reframe it as brain fuel, not a meal. Picture yourself at 90, savoring breakfast with mental clarity and strength. In blue zones like Okinawa, elders prioritize morning meals, often simple rice with fish or miso. This habit shields your brain from glucose starvation, fortifying you against the next stroke risk factor in your morning routine. Habit 3. Physical inactivity. Lingering in stillness for an hour or two after waking, whether perched on the bed, seated at the breakfast table, or sunk into the couch, feels like a gentle start to the day, even restorative. Yet, for seniors over 60, this dangerous stillness, as Dr. Hinohara terms it, triples stroke risk by creating a vascular trap. Blood pools in the legs, sluggish circulation falters, and clots become more likely, especially in aging veins that struggle to push blood upward. This stagnation, like a dammed river, can spark deep vein thrombosis, where a clot dislodges and travels to the brain, triggering a stroke. A landmark study in Circulation, tracking 8,000 seniors, found that those spending over 9 hours daily sedentary doubled their stroke risk, even if they exercise later. The first hour after waking is a critical window. Without movement, blood flow to the brain lags, particularly in vessels narrowed by age-related plaque. Thomas, a 70-year-old retiree, unknowingly fueled his stroke risk by spending mornings immersed in newspapers. A transient ischemic attack, TIA, prompted a wake-up call. Adding 10 minutes of walking each morning revitalized his circulation, slashing his risk profile within weeks. Dr. Hinohara's remedy is elegantly simple. 5 to 10 minutes of light mobility within 30 minutes of waking. March in place, stretch arms overhead, or stroll to the mailbox. These gentle actions signal your body to activate, boosting venous return and oxygenating the brain. A 2020 Journal of the American Heart Association study revealed that brief morning movement reduces clot risk by 30%, enhancing blood flow without strain. This isn't about intense workouts or sweating. It's about fostering flow, countering the vascular bottleneck that inactivity creates. Emily, a 66-year-old widow, spent mornings glued to morning TV. Unaware her stillness contributed to a dizzy spell that alarmed her family. Her doctor traced it to poor circulation, exacerbated by prolonged sitting. Starting shoulder rolls and ankle flexes before her coffee, Emily noticed steadier balance and brighter energy within days. Her blood pressure, a key longevity marker, improved significantly. Another case, George, a 73-year-old former mechanic, sat for hours reading emails, mistaking it for relaxation. After a near-fainting episode, he adopted 5 minutes of leg swings and arm stretches, regaining vitality and reducing his TIA risk. These stories unmask inactivity's hidden toll, often confused with rest, but functioning as a silent stroke catalyst. After 60, veins lose elasticity, and blood clots more readily, making morning movement non-negotiable. A 2021 stroke journal study found that sedentary mornings increase deep vein thrombosis risk by 25%, particularly in seniors with limited mobility. The solution lies in small, deliberate actions that awaken circulation, protecting the brain from stagnation's dangers. Adopt this habit tomorrow. Move within 30 minutes of waking. In bed, flex toes and rotate wrists, or try seated leg lifts if mobility is limited. Stand and sway gently, or walk around your home. Pair with soft music for enjoyment. Keep a chair nearby for balance, if needed. In blue zones like Sardinia, elders start days fetching water or tending gardens, weaving movement into life. Picture yourself at 90, striding confidently, joints supple, brain thriving, thanks to this daily ritual. This habit breaks the cycle of stagnation, shielding you from the next morning risk awaiting in your routine. Habit 4. Sitting up suddenly. Rising from bed each morning feels as natural as breathing, but for seniors over 60, sitting up too quickly after waking can silently triple stroke risk by triggering sudden blood pressure drops. Dr. Hinohara, Japan's centenarian physician, explains that rapidly shifting from lying to sitting places undue stress on aging blood vessels, which lose elasticity over time. This can lead to orthostatic hypotension, a temporary plunge in blood pressure that starves the brain of oxygen-rich blood, causing dizziness, fainting, or even a transient ischemic attack, TIA, a precursor to a full stroke. What seems routine is, in fact, a hidden vascular strain, particularly dangerous in the morning's fragile window. A 2019 Journal of Hypertension study found that orthostatic hypotension affects 20% of seniors, doubling their risk of cardiovascular events, including stroke. Mornings amplify this danger. Overnight dehydration thickens blood, and a natural dip in blood pressure during sleep leaves vessels vulnerable. Rapid posture changes exacerbate these conditions, creating a perfect storm for brain blood flow disruptions. Laura, a 69-year-old retired librarian, experienced this firsthand. She habitually sprang from bed each morning, often feeling lightheaded but dismissing it as age. One day, she nearly fainted while reaching for her glasses, a TIA later confirmed by her doctor. Slowing her rise, lingering in bed, and flexing her feet stabilized her pressure, preventing further episodes. Dr. Hinohara's solution is straightforward. Transition slowly to protect your vessels. Upon waking, lie still for 30 seconds, flexing toes and ankles to stimulate circulation. Roll to your side, then sit up gradually, pausing at the bed's edge for 10 seconds before standing. Sipping 16 ounces of room temperature water before rising boosts blood volume, further easing strain. A 2021 American Journal of Medicine study showed that gradual posture changes reduce hypotension episodes by 40%, safeguarding brain circulation. This isn't about lethargy, but deliberate care, ensuring blood flows smoothly to a brain waking from hours of rest. William, a 73-year-old former electrician, ignored morning dizziness, rushing from bed to the bathroom daily. A TIA during one such rush prompted his doctor to teach him slow transitions paired with pre-rise hydration. Within weeks, his symptoms vanished and his confidence returned. Another case, Margaret, a 71-year-old, felt unsteady each morning, blaming arthritis. Her physician linked it to rapid rising and dehydration. Adopting slow movements and water intake restored her balance. These stories reveal a subtle but potent risk. Sudden movements tax a system already strained by age, overnight fluid loss, and morning's natural blood pressure surge. The science underscores this urgency. A 2020 stroke journal study noted that orthostatic hypotension increases TIA risk by 25% in seniors, particularly in the first hour after waking, when cortisol peaks and vessels are stiff. Rapid rising mimics a stress test for aging arteries, risking clots or flow interruptions. Dr. Hinohara emphasizes prevention through mindfulness, not fear, turning a daily act into a protective ritual. Start tomorrow. Wake, flex your feet for 30 seconds, roll to your side, and sit slowly, pausing 10 seconds before standing. Keep a glass of water by your bed to sip first. If dizziness strikes, lie back and elevate legs briefly. In blue zones like Okinawa, elders ease into mornings, stretching or kneeling before standing, honoring their body's rhythms. Picture yourself at 90, rising smoothly, free from vertigo, brain thriving. This habit fortifies your vessels, shielding you from the final, often overlooked stroke risk in your morning routine. Habit 5. Skipping water. The simplest act, drinking a glass of water upon waking, holds profound power to prevent strokes. Yet most seniors over 60 overlook it, tripling their risk in the process. Overnight, your body loses water through breathing, sweating, and metabolic processes, leaving your blood thicker, like a sponge wrung dry. This increased viscosity slows circulation, strains the heart, and heightens the likelihood of clots, particularly during the morning's perfect storm of elevated cortisol and rising blood pressure. Dr. Hinohara, Japan's centenarian physician, labels this dehydration a silent stroke catalyst, quietly undermining the brain's delicate blood flow in a critical window. A 2017 European Journal of Neurology study revealed that low morning hydration was a factor in 48% of first-time ischemic strokes, outranking genetics or diet as a contributor. Thickened blood forces aging arteries, already less flexible, to work harder, raising the odds of blockages or ruptures. Richard, a 72-year-old retired engineer, epitomized this risk. He started mornings with black coffee, bypassing water entirely. A transient ischemic attack, TIA, unmasked dehydration's role. Adopting a habit of drinking 16 ounces of water upon waking revitalized his circulation, averting further vascular events. His case underscores a stark truth. What seems trivial can be life-saving. Dr. Hinohara's prescription is clear. Drink 16 ounces of room temperature or warm water immediately after waking, before coffee, medications, or breakfast. Cold water can jolt digestion, especially in older adults, so ambient or slightly warm is gentlest. A 2022 Stroke Journal study found that morning hydration reduces blood viscosity by 25%, easing strain on the heart and brain, critical for seniors with stiffer vessels. For flavor, add a lemon slice or cucumber, but avoid sugary drinks like juice, which spike glucose and inflammation, counteracting benefits. This small act rehydrates cells, thins blood, and primes circulation for the day. Sarah, a 68-year-old former nurse, blamed her morning sluggishness on age, unaware that her coffee-first routine exacerbated dehydration. Her doctor linked her fatigue and erratic blood pressure to low fluid intake. After committing to a glass of water each morning, Sarah's energy surged, and her blood pressure stabilized within weeks. Another example, James, a 70-year-old widower, felt frequent morning headaches, which he attributed to stress. Tests revealed mild dehydration. A water-first habit eliminated his headaches, improving his mental clarity. These stories reveal dehydration's insidious toll, often mistaken for fatigue or aging, but quietly fueling stroke risk in the morning's high-risk window. The science is compelling. A 2020 Journal of the American College of Cardiology study showed that adequate hydration lowers cardiovascular stress by 20%, particularly in seniors prone to morning blood pressure spikes. Overnight fluid loss, combined with cortisol's dawn surge, creates a perfect storm where thick blood navigates stiff arteries, inviting clots. Dr. Hinohara's approach transforms this routine act into a shield, emphasizing prevention over reaction. Adopt this habit tomorrow. Place a 16-ounce glass of room temperature water by your bed each night. Sip it slowly upon waking, before reaching for coffee or pills. Set a phone reminder or pair it with opening curtains for consistency. If plain water feels bland, try a splash of herbal tea. In blue zones like Okinawa, elders hydrate first, often with miso broth or green tea, honoring their body's needs. Picture yourself at 90. Starting each day refreshed, brain vibrant, circulation smooth. This foundational habit ensures blood flows freely, fortifying you against stroke's silent threat as you embrace a healthier morning routine. Your mornings hold the power to prevent strokes, thanks to Dr. Hinohara's wisdom. Avoid rushing into stress, skipping breakfast, physical inactivity, sitting up suddenly, and skipping water. These habits, backed by Lancet Neurology and Circulation, triple stroke risk after 60. But simple shifts cut danger by 80%. Watch for early signs like sudden clumsiness, fumbling buttons, or spilling tea, and act within 48 hours to save your brain. Start one change tomorrow, like drinking water or moving gently, to build a stroke-proof future. Subscribe to Elders Wisdom and hit the like button to join our community. Comment, "I'm stroke-proof at 60," and share which habit you'll ditch first. We'd love to hear your plan. Which of these habits surprised you most, and why? Your answer could inspire others. Our next video reveals foods to slash stroke risk. Don't miss it. Thank you for being here, proving that after 60, you're not just surviving, you're thriving with purpose and protection.